Hi guys, it's Sam from Sammy's Reviews, and in today's video I'm super excited to talk about the very first Netflix original Egyptian series. It's called Paranormal and it's based on a very long series of stories by the great writer Ahmad Khaalid توفيق. And there's a huge, amazing team behind it. The producer is Muhammad Hafظي, the director is السلامة, and it stars Ahmad Amin. And these are all great names in the Egyptian culture, and they are very inventive people, creative people who are very passionate about art and cinema. And most of the festivals, the film festivals and the art festivals that happens inside Cairo or outside Cairo in Egypt in general, it's mostly run by them. Something like Cairo International Film Festival, the past couple of years it was run by Muhammad Hafظي, who is the producer. He put a lot of thought and love and effort into making it amazing, and it was. Let's get back to Netflix. This is some exciting news because last year we had Jinn, which is a Jordanian series, and this was great news to introduce the Arabic world into Netflix, into an international platform. However, it was not so good and the budget was not helping it, but it was a trial nevertheless. Paranormal, or وراء الطبيعة, its Egyptian name, follows a doctor, a realist doctor, and this is a very important characteristic because we're gonna come back to it. Rifat Ismail is a doctor who's exposed to questionable situations and has to figure out the reality of what is happening and whether there is actually a supernatural or paranormal layer to some of the cases he's exposed to. So he's basically a detective, or an unwilling detective to be specific. He doesn't want to be part of this, but because of some childhood trauma, he's drawn into the maybe paranormal world. So basically every episode he meets a problem, he has a mission, and by the end of the episode the problem or mission is resolved. And along the way we briefly follow his private life, where he is unwillingly again engaged to a girl, and it is very clear that they do not have any sort of connection between them. Also, Rifat is very lonely and very self-destructive, and he faced a trauma during his childhood that he could not get over or could not face, and this will surely creep in and get a hold of him. We also have his sidekick character Maggie, a Scottish doctor who was with him during college days, and they were parted and she came back to Egypt looking for him after learning how to speak Arabic. And you can see that there was and there still is a spark between them, and this causes a conflict between the love triangle of Rifat, his now fiance, and Maggie. Now let's dissect it. I like how it's an interesting take on the Egyptian and Arabic culture without it being the focus of it. It's just happened to take place in an Arabic city. I love that. The acting was real and natural, and Ahmad Amin in the Egyptian culture is known to be a comedian or someone who runs a satire show, and I have never seen him in a serious role, but I was surprised by how well he acted and how dedicated he was to the role. I really respected him. Also, fun fact, he looks exactly like the main character from the book covers of the original novels that it was adapted from. It's kind of creepy. He looks almost identical. When Ahmad Khaalid توفيق was publishing some stories in a very renowned magazine in Egypt called Basim, Ahmad Amin was the editor-in-chief of the magazine, so their connection began a long time ago. So you could see how Ahmad Amin was so careful and he was so keen to bringing Rifat Ismail's character to life on the screen. Also, his sister and the relationship together was really realistic. Also, psychic characters like his fiance or his sister's husband, or the doctor that we later meet in the very last episodes, although they have brief screen time, they're very well built, and we use them to flush out Rifat Ismail's character rather than create a subplot of some sort. His psychic character Maggie is a Scottish resident who learned how to speak Arabic, and she made sure not to discuss her past and not to reveal what happened to her during the 15 years when they were apart. Also, the actress is neither Scottish nor Egyptian, yet yet she spoke English and Arabic fluently, and I really respect that. She said in an interview that she has actually spent some time in Scotland to master the accent and the dialect perfectly. So basically the acting overall was good, except from the children. I really did not like them. They were mostly in the very first episode while we say the story of Rifat's past. I know it's really hard to direct kids and you sort of have no control over how they deliver their lines, but nevertheless it was not so good compared to the other cast. So let's discuss the dialogue. Since our main character is a realist, there is always sarcastic and satire monologue that goes inside his head when someone proposes the idea that what's happening is because of a supernatural or paranormal force. And Rifat's character always questions his surrounding, always questions the people in front of him. And since he's a doctor, he likes facts. He likes things to be scientifically proven. He hates the idea that people just accept that there is a supernatural or paranormal force just because they cannot understand or fathom some things in the world. Also, I like how it's kind of an anthology. It's written in a very formulaic way, which makes it enjoyable. As I told you, we have a case, a mission, and this case is resolved at the end. Also, I love how the Egyptian folklore is there and it's very prominent. The creature and the cases are all coming from ancient Egyptian folklore stories that are being passed on from one generation to another, such as the Pharaoh's curse and the Naddeha, which is basically a very pretty lady that lures the men in and drives them insane. And so much more stories. One of the few downsides of this story is the graphics. I do understand that they did not have a huge budget to work on, but I like that some episodes, honestly most episodes, the director cleverly dealt with the creatures and the monsters that he shows. We only see parts of them, whether it's a hand, a leg, or only the eyes, whether we see them in the shadows or in the dark or very far away. He just made sure not to make you see them clearly because clearly he has no budget to do that. However, in episodes such as episode 3 specifically, the graphics were really bad. To be frank, they were horrible, and I have no idea why was he so brave to show me such a, I don't want to use this word, but maybe an unprofessional looking creature. Why did he choose to show me that? And it had plenty of screen time. I would have preferred if it was more ambiguous or I couldn't see it clearly. I would much more prefer that. Overall, it's a really enjoyable show. It's only 6 episodes. You can binge watch it so easily. It is actually a little bit creepy and you can see the passion that is poured from the actors and the director, and I hope this is just a beginning of many artworks that are being produced by Netflix in our Arabic culture. I would love to see more of those. The Arabic culture is rarely represented in international platforms, and I'm glad we're starting to take part in it. I gave Paranormal or وراء الطبيعة 7.5 out of 10, and I totally recommend it. Even if you are not interested in something like that, give it a shot. You might like it. Have you seen Paranormal? What do you think of it? Are you planning to check it out? Please leave your opinion down below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!